have made it down here to the bottom. I'll put my first cameras out for 2025 down here on the river bottom where I've hunted king the past 3 years. I'm probably going to take a lock on out, and I might move one, maybe two. I'm going to take one out that I'm going to take and use up in Illinois this year. That'll be something new for the channel. We'll be doing some filming from Illinois. Me and some friends have leased a couple farms and a cabin up there. So that's going to be exciting. Starting my Lampstand Outdoors Men's Ministry this year. Trying to kick it up a notch and do it for the glory of the Lord, because He blesses me with everything I got. And so first thing I want to do is put these 3 cameras out. You know, we had Hurricane Helene last year, so what little bit I've been in the woods this year, I'm seeing that a lot of these big oaks that have been blown over are still alive, which I thought they might be, because in most cases, half to 3/4 of the root ball is still in the ground. So it's almost like a big giant hinge cut down here on public, which is just really fantastic for the habitat. So I'm curious to see how many of these trees are alive still. But I want to find me about 3 spots on this bottom where the deer have been traveling, and see where these trees have fell and it's created pinch points, and really narrowed down their travel a lot more. Any of you guys that may be hunting big woods, big public, not private clubs as much, because private club you can go in, cut and do what you want, but here in public you can't do nothing. So the way everything laid is the way it stays. So the deer are having to walk certain paths now. You know, the general direction of travel is going to be the same, but it's going to be crunched down and more pinched, which is really a plus. So, you know, don't be discouraged, you guys hunting big tracts of public. Get out there and find these new travel routes that are going to be actually tighter. And look for these. There's going to be new bedding areas. There's going to be food where there wasn't food before, because sunlight's hitting the ground and hadn't hit in years. These are just the positives that I'm seeing from the hurricane. Yeah, enough of that rambling. 2 years ago, I killed Walmart right over there, a 10-pointer. That looks like the beavers have been at work, which I'm not going to complain, because their dam gives me a way to get over right here when the water's up. There's a lot of water in the swamp right now. Beaver dams make great bridges. All right, I'm fixing to get on the other side of the swamp. Go to my first spot where I want to hang the camera. Notice I got 2 thermocells. I come up with this. Right here, it's actually a camera mount that I got attached to my backpack. And it's for holding the phone. And I was thinking before I left the truck, thermocell is about the same size as the phone. I wonder if it'll hold it. Holds it perfect. So I got that one right there. And I got this one right here. And believe me, y'all laugh all you want to, but These mosquitoes, they fly around my head and they get a little whiff of that right there. They ain't messing with me. I'm standing right here on the river bottom at a swamp in May in South Carolina. And mosquitoes ain't bothering me. So I'm gonna ease over here, check my first. I got 3 areas I want to put cameras down here to cover travel close to the river, about 150 yards off the river, and then above this swamp. That's the way I've done every year, but the hurricane damage as far as trees laying is gonna help me a little bit actually. So the trails will tell me. These trees have been down since October of last year, so the deer have already got used to their new travel routes, so the trails are going to be obvious. All right. Slowly working my way through this stuff. Every year I forget how tall it gets in the summer. All this growth. Coming up to this one ditch that water comes in and out of the swamp into the river. Good access to park a boat. But this year, after the hurricane, see where I'm standing, water was about 10 feet deep. So this ditch got filled with debris during hurricane. I mean, I'd have to do a whole lot of work with chainsaw, saw to clear that out to where it even be. I mean, I can't even get to the river to see if I could still tie my boat off right there. But, yeah. I'm coming up on the spot where I got the most impressive video ever of King when he showed back up on September 4th. 2 years ago, a night shot with him pushing around a little young buck right toward the camera, and he was grunting. I mean, it's in one of my videos. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about, because walking toward the camera, King looked like a 160-inch deer. Very impressive video of him that year. That's this spot up here I'm coming up on. It was a nice, natural food source. That's why I called it the Jesus food plot. But I don't know. Last time I was in here, I didn't see a lot of the growth coming back. Had a lot of deadfall in it from the hurricane, so I want to get my eyes on it and see. I'm sure it's grown back up to the plants they were feeding on. Oh yeah. There's just some standing water in here now, but those plants have come back. Yeah, this is what I call the Jesus food plot right here. It's amazing how the woods just kind of heal themselves after some kind of big storm like that. Well, there's more water in here than there has been. I can't get out there where I had that camera out there where I got King on that night video. There's a trail there, working around that water. I'm working my way toward where the hurricane damage created a nice little funnel. I had cameras on this year and actually hunted a couple times. The deer were using real good. If they're still using it good, I'm probably gonna hang my second camera right there. I've already hung one over there on the swamp where my lock on is. The travel coming through there is so good, I decided not to take down that lock on yet. I'm gonna leave it there and see what that camera tells me for the next month, because there's a lot of deer walking by that lock on. Yeah, a lot of deer walking here too. But it's getting closer to that pinch point up here where all these big trees fell. Standing right here where I had a lock on last year and some cameras. I got king in this area a lot. Here's a good example of the trees still alive. This is a big water oak. You can see the root ball there. It's about 8 foot. But this water oak right here, huge, on the ground, still alive. Fully still got green all over it. That's amazing. Getting ready to get to this spot right here where these deer are being pinched down big time. You can see. I'll show you. Tracks everywhere. It's wet right now, but see, there was daylight was not hitting the ground right here before the storm. You see how it's opened up. All the blue sky. Wasn't nothing like that before Hurricane Helene. Okay, not a lot of travel right here. I think this has been underwater. You can see where the water's been receding right here. It's been higher. Water line on the tree about 2 foot up, so that's why the tracks aren't like they were at the end of the season. But see, these big trees have all fell. That huge one, which it's still alive too. Wow. 2 giant water oaks right there on the ground. Both of them's alive. Look, look. 1, 2, 3 root balls. Got turkeys right here, they don't know. I might have bumped her off her nest. Yeah, she didn't go far. Well, she left the country. She's probably got a nest right up here, I'll check. It's just not real, I mean, there's tracks on it, but it's not heavy right now. As you can see, I bet she's got a nest right here. Great place for them to nest. But I'm sure those eggs been hatched a long time. Unless she had a nest get destroyed. She laid again. I don't know if turkeys will do that, but she was right here when I first heard her pucking. Anyway, you can see this right here. Deer been cutting through here because they have to. And big trees laying right there. This one, huge, like that. So, this is the bottom of the peninsula. For those of you that followed my channel, you know where I'm talking about. This is the very bottom of it, so it's really made a nice little pinch point at the bottom of the channel. Some pretty good tracks right here. There will probably be a scrape right here this year on this little high spot. All right. Bare ground in the wintertime. Head high
chest high in the summertime. You gotta, if you don't know where you're walking, you gotta be easy with your steps right here. Trying to find where these deer are maneuvering all these big water oaks on the ground. There's another one alive, big one on the ground, another one alive on the ground, big one right there. Wow. About 90% of these trees are still alive. Going to make a unique situation. Over time, those limb tops are going to start shooting straight up. 20, 30 years from now, people down here, they're going to say, what happened to these trees? Anybody's around still that knows, I said, that was Hurricane Helene. Knocked these trees down and they stayed alive. Alright, I made it back over here to this original spot. This is going to be the best spot for the camera long term in the summer. It'll dry up. We got June and July coming. This will dry up. They'll use this gap. I mean, that's just not going to change. Just because it's not wore out with huge tracks on top of each other fresh right now. I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to look at the rest of the summer. And when you look at the rest of the summer right here, mature bucks will cut right there. So I'm going to put my camera right there. That's where I had it at the end of deer season. I was getting bucks cutting through here. They come off that peninsula, they got to come right there. And that was King's main highway for the past 3 years, right there. All right, oh, this is my thermocell set up, or my second thermocell, so I got it on one of my camera arms attached to my backpack. And then I got, this one on attached to my chest right here. I mean, you need 2 thermocells down here. I do. So, I'm gonna get this camera hung and work my way back to that way, north end of the swamp on a trail where I got a really good buck in January. Still have both sides, his horns, antlers hadn't dropped yet, and I got him on camera. He was real nice, so I'm gonna go look at that trail he was on, and if it's got some good buck sign on, I'll probably hang the other camera there. I'll kind of have a triangle, big triangle, but a triangle of cameras for the next June and July. All right. Another big water oak that fell, still alive. This is actually a willow oak, but as you can see, It is healthy. Just as green as it can be. As if it was standing 100 feet tall. Still alive. Laying on the ground. Had 2 trees down there. One fell this way, one fell that way. There's water beyond it where my stand is I can't get to. I just have to wait until later in the summer it dries up. Maybe I can get in there and get that lock on. I never did get to hunt it, not one time last year. I had a camera in there it's about 10, 12 feet off the ground during the hurricane. And it got right up to that camera. Actually submerged. I don't think that one's submerged because I think it was a cell cam. But yeah, I got wood ducks floating by right there, camera level, after the hurricane. It was crazy. But yeah, I can't get to that stand still. It's a pretty good bit of water. That red oak fell. It's dead. It didn't survive. But here's the very top of that willow oak right here. Top branches. Just as green as they can be. Healthy. Crazy. Yeah, you see here. See why this red oak died. They just hardly no roots in the ground, and something's buried a hole and living up under there. So yeah, that one didn't survive. I know a lot of you guys come to my channel because you see South Carolina public land in the titles. I try to put it in the title or in the description to draw people wanting to see South Carolina public land hunting. So I know a lot of you guys probably hunt South Carolina public, but just last year after the storm, it was kind of discouraging for me, and I know probably for a lot of you guys, it's like the deer just, it threw them for a loop, man. I had about 18 cameras down here, and I couldn't hardly get nothing on camera there for about almost a month afterwards. But I knew this was going to be the case this year, so get out, guys. Go back to your spots. The deeper, in my opinion, the deeper you go, the better. Some people swear you just walk right off a gravel road and have good hunting, which I'm sure you can. I like getting way back where I don't see anybody. I've been hunting this piece for 5 years. And seeing somebody down here in a tree hunting, I think it's happened 3 times in 5 years. And one guy, we ended up hooking up and talking, and he was a cool dude. Another guy, I walked by him going in one afternoon after work. He was on a ridge not far from that swamp. I just, kind of nodded my head, apologizing for walking by, and he gestured no problem, man. He just, I went on to my stand. But in 5 years, that's about what I've seen down here for guys hunting. Now, I've got people on camera off season walking, but still not that many walking and very little hunting. So I just like to get down where there's hardly anybody else. And there's usually some mature deer, big deer. So I'm working my way back, trying to hug close to this water to see why they might be going to and from water. trying to look over here to where I'm gonna hang this third camera. All right, I done got into some soft stuff. I'm talking and not paying attention. See these little pockets of water in here. All the time, this mud around these pockets of water is like daggum quicksand almost. But let me ease my way over here. Just wanted to show y'all that willow oak. It was still alive and laying on the ground. And you guys get out, man. Don't be discouraged. I mean, Helene, as far as Big Woods public land goes, Helene did the woods good. I'll tell you that right now. Like I said earlier in the video, I think it's just like a big, giant hinge cut. You hear the word hinge cut with a lot of these land management guys. And that's what Helene did. Just a big old giant hinge cut. All right, I'm back out for now. I'm starting to see some deer travel. I want to pay attention to these tracks. All right, I done got over here. I had that camera last year at the end of the season. I got that good buck. This was a big grove of humongous willow oaks. This is where I got some. I told you I had that great footage of King on the Jesus food plot, chasing that little young buck. Well, right here is where I got the best scrape footage of King, is right here. I mean, I've used it for several cover photos for videos, him at night. He just worked a scrape right in front of my camera for like 2 minutes. Gave me some amazing footage, but that was a scrape right over there. Probably 60, 70 yards from where I'm at right now. But yeah, as you see, big giant trees that have fell. Look at the root ball right there. That's 12 foot. I'm trying to get right back to that spot where I had that camera. It's right in here. Things look so different, man, in the summer. So different. They were cutting through somewhere. I've come over to another piece. Well, the same piece, just different area of the property to pull this lock on out. I'm gonna take the Illinois. I've come upon this white oak that has fell, and it's still alive. And guess what? It's gonna have acorns. That was a big question. I was wondering, would they have acorns this year if they fell over and we're still alive? So this is a white oak that's alive, and it's going to have, looks like it's going to be loaded. There's acorns all over it. Now, if this tree was still standing, there's no way you could see these from the ground this early. Oh, this is the top of the tree. So, good Lord created these trees to be pretty dadgum resilient. This joker's laying on the ground, half the roots are out of the ground, and it's alive and it's got acorns on it. We'll see how they do this year. I'll keep a check on that tree. That's amazing. Come up to a red oak down, it's still alive, and it's got acorns all over it too. We'll see how they do, but yeah. Red oak on the ground, alive with acorns. Some giant trees down, boy. Making my way over here to this lock on them and take down. And man, like I showed a minute ago, every oak I've checked that's on the ground is still alive and has acorns already forming. So here's what I'm going to be curious to watch this year. Will the deer, since they can, you know, just pick them off the tree if they want to, will they eat those acorns early, or will they wait until they're ripe? And that's going to be interesting to see. What do y'all think? I think they're going to pick them off early. I don't know, but you know, of course, there's still a lot of trees still standing. It, you know, Helene didn't take down every oak, but so I guess the ones that are standing, they probably got acorns on them too, because every tree I've checked. And see, normally this time of year you can't tell because they're too high. You know, you can't see a little, you know, acorn the size of a pea way down here on the ground. But now that we got these trees on the ground, I can see the tops. So that will be another interesting thing to follow this year as the season goes on. There's one little strip I hadn't walked to shed hunt right here this year. I'd love to walk up on one of the big ones that's in here. His shed, like maybe King. That would confirm he's alive, like I think he is. We'll see. I don't know.